From both Kato and I,
Speaking of.
and from the entire team, the Danza Project team, we wanted to say thank you. You heard? The 100,000 subscribers. I just took it out the plastic right now, so I don't know if I messed it up, if I'm supposed to touch this or not, but, you know, I'm excited about it, right? Like, I'm happy for it. You know, you said big moment. For me, it's like, I mean, it's dope. Don't get me wrong, but, like, I want this times 10 in like, 20s or 50s, hundreds stacked across the table, and then I'll be like, all right, that's cool. Word. That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, it's dope. I don't want to downplay YouTube or anything that we've done. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, like, the dream is much bigger.
Keep going.
You feel me? So if I could shatter this to ensure that we get to 1 million, I would.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it'll shatter though.
I mean,
I was gonna shatter it.
You know what killed it for me? You know what ruined it for me?
What's that?
Seeing Mr. Beast get like some 500 million. They sent him like a custom Mr. Beast red plaque for hitting like 500 million. I said, oh, we got work to do, bruh. Yeah. Like, no disrespect. Obviously, it's great to have it, but
we'll hang it up somewhere.
Man. Yeah.
It's dope.
It's going to be in the background somewhere.
Yeah, put it in the shot. Yeah.
You know what's way doper?
What's that?
Doing things like this.
Hey.
This is what? This was like a lovely Wednesday night in Miami. It's starting to get a little too hot.
Yeah.
Starting to touch the 90s. I'm like, I don't know. It's a little hot. I don't know if I want to deal with all that again, but, you know, back through the trenches we go. I keep the room nice and cool, but as we've heard, not me being cold. You know what I mean? Not me being at the Danza Project. You know, not me being in Miami.
Okay.
Not Destini Fox.
Not Pitbull not being here.
Not Pitbull not being here. Not Fit Mommy. Yeah. You heard? And then what else we got? Dezi Styles.
Dezi Stormz. That's
Dezi
my artist
Stormz.
name. Yeah.
All right, so it's
Don't
you got
fuck
3
it up.
names.
Don't
Dezi
fuck it up.
Stormz. That's Dezi Stormz. But I mean, you called me Danza. So I was trying to give you that energy back.
I actually what is it again? The Danza Project.
Danza.
Yeah.
I'm trolling. That's what I do. But welcome to Miami again.
Thank you.
Luckily, we're not in Buffalo.
You know, I feel like I'm so ready to go back.
Really?
Yeah.
It is time.
It's so time. I'm going to do a show there.
That ass?
Yeah.
Fire. Mm-hmm. That's different right there. That's that shit talk. You know what I mean? Where you from originally?
Buffalo, right?
I'm from Austin, Texas originally.
Okay. So Austin, Texas, you got all this stuff going on right now in your life, right? And we could sit there and we could start at the end, but I don't want to start at the end. I don't do that. I like getting right into the most important shit is who is Destini?
Right. Well, like I said, I was born and raised in Austin, Texas, and then I ended up graduating from a high school called Canyon Lake. It's like right on the outskirts of Austin, and it's like super country. Right out of high school, I joined the Army. So I went to the Army when I was about 18, and my first duty station was Yongsan, South Korea.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I had never even been on a plane before I joined the military. So it was super like, it was a weird transition. Oh, yeah. You know, going from living in a small town your whole life and then being stationed in a whole nother country. You know, it was a super culture shock.
Absolutely.
But a blessing, you know, because I was able to see parts of the world that some people never get to see, you know, so.
And get paid to do it.
Right. And not like super good money. You know, the Army is definitely not the highest paying job and you do it for a sacrifice, but it was a really good experience. So
what led to that though? Like how do you end up in the military? Like coming up, what do you feel like is the reason you ended up?
So I had a really, really hard upbringing. And I just knew I wanted to get out of my hometown. And I knew the quickest and easiest way to do that was to join the Army. I knew the Army was going to take care of me. So.
And you said you were how old?
I joined when I was 18.
So right away. Yeah. As soon as you were eligible, you just.
I actually officially joined when I was 17. There's something called the early enlistment program. And your parents just have to sign off, give their consent. And so while I was still in high school, I was meeting up with a reserves unit and doing PT with them every morning and then going to school.
What's going through your mind, though, right there? Like, are you shook a little bit as you're signing those papers? Because I went through a similar process. I almost went into it, but I backed out.
Okay.
You know, like being young, it is like it's kind of like that's what you know. There's a few ways to get out.
Right.
When you do have a troubled childhood, a troubled upbringing, and it's like, you know, you go ahead and you're about to sign those papers and give your life away because you're giving them your life at that time.
Right.
Like, was there any fear involved? Like, what did it take to get to that point?
I think that when you're that young, you don't really realize what you're doing.
The gravity of it.
It almost felt like I was going to summer camp or something, you know? And
They make it seem like that.
they do. And they tell you all these benefits and all it's going to be great. And I had a really great recruiter. I was blessed to have a really good recruiter. I honestly felt such a peace come over me when I signed those papers. I was so sure that that's what I wanted to do at that time.
And you end up in Korea.
Yeah. And that's kind of where things get a little bit crazy.
So did you learn how to speak Korean and all that stuff? Like, because you're young there, right? You're still learning.
Yeah, no, I was still young there. I did have some Korean soldiers that I worked with. There's soldiers called katusas, and they're Korean soldiers that work for the U.S. Army. So in Korea, you have to do a mandatory 2 years, whether you're a girl or a boy. Everybody's got to do it. That's how it is over there.
It's like Israel. Like,
So
Yep. They need that shit.
So they can either join the ROK Army, which is the Korean Army, or they can work for the U.S. Army. And they wear our uniform, they work with us, and all that. And that's called a katusa. Okay. So I worked with a lot of katusas, and they would teach me Korean. So I picked up on some things.
all the bad words first, of course.
Right. And they were so funny because they always acted like they had no money, but like their parents owned a freaking gas station and shit. Like,
Because it's a different culture.
right.
Like, chakemanyo. That's really a thing, too. Just so you know.
The way
I know
you
it
looked at
means
me was
something,
like it meant something.
Like a
nah, 'cause
popular,
my mom spent time out there.
A popular Korean greeting is annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah,
Annyeonghaseyo.
I've heard
And
that.
they like bow.
Straight
yeah.
with it.
Yeah, they got a lot more respect for one another than we do out here.
Man, I feel like every other country does though.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of different places and it's always a culture shock.
So you're out there and you're experiencing life. How long were you out there?
I was out there for 2 years.
2 years. Did you feel like when you came back home, it was like a culture shock to you?
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. But my story of what happened in Korea is more so why.
Oh,
So tell us about the story.
So
There's no way you can go
so I
past
get
that.
to
since you brought, not you bringing it up.
not me getting the tea for y'all. So I went to Korea. Like I said, I was 18. Obviously didn't know anybody over there. And I get to my unit, and about a month into my tour, we get a new platoon sergeant, and he's like 5'5", literally. But he's like big muscle.
Pitbull.
Like he's a Colombian dude.
Pitbull.
Come on, Pitbull. Come on.
Oh man.
He's a Colombian dude. He has like nice tan skin, and I'm like, who is this dude? But in the Army, like I was just a private at the time, so you can't fraternize with like people outside your rank. So they say. But he like started scheduling us to have staff duty together, and staff duty is like a duty you pull for 24 hours, and it's just you and the platoon sergeant, and you're guarding a whole building, and it's like all through the night. One night.
Yeah, that's. Hello.
One night, we were. Can I cuss on here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think we cussed already a few times. Right?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to preface. So one night we were fucking in the battalion conference room,
Conference room.
which is super.
One of the biggest rooms in the.
Well, it's super not okay.
Yeah.
But you know that's what happened. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Shit.
I got pregnant.
Here.
Oh.
Yeah, I got pregnant, and so that happened, and I found out that I was pregnant. And then eventually, when I was like 9 weeks pregnant, I ended up miscarrying. Because at the time I was training for a bodybuilding competition. I was doing all kind of shit.
What time you're hiding it?
Well,
But
I didn't.
still.
But the thing is, I didn't find out I was pregnant until I was 7 weeks, and I was taking like fat burners. I was doing the crazy hours in the gym.
Everything.
And then when I found out at 7 weeks, and then I lost my baby at 9 weeks, I was like, damn, like, can we try again? Can we try for another baby? And I got pregnant a month later. And so now my daughter is about to be 7 years old.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, that was a crazy time.
Wow. Is that
Whoa.
dishonorable discharge?
No.
Like,
So I PCS'd, so a permanent change of station to Fort Benning, Georgia from Korea.
Okay.
Had my daughter there in Georgia. And shortly after I had my daughter, I went to Airborne school. So I was like jumping out of planes, doing that whole thing. And I ended up getting into an airborne accident.
Oh, shit.
And so like if you look at my nose, you can tell like the right side is collapsing. Basically, when I tucked my chin to land, a clip on like a D-ring on my parachute came up and filleted my nose in half.
Jeez.
Like hooked it through.
So my nose was like off my face, like just.
Holy shit.
And like I said, my daughter was 6 months old. I was already going through like postpartum stuff, you know? And
a lot of changes happening.
So I ended up medically retiring from the military.
Word.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's crazy about the face, if anybody who watches wrestling and shit like that, you bleed a lot.
Oh my God.
There's so much, I guess, veins and stuff.
I had no idea. It literally looked like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Like I saw so much blood squirting out of my nose. I was like, damn, this cannot be how I go out. Like,
yeah.
This can't be.
This is it. I done jumped out of planes. This is how I go.
But yeah.
So you're back in America now.
I'm biting.
And so they know it was him. They knew he was baby daddy.
I mean, people speculated it, but nobody could prove anything.
So that if they would have, it would have been an issue, though. Obviously.
Oh yeah, it would have definitely. been an
So
issue.
you did him a solid, you know, being able to take off and leaving him there.
Yes and no.
Yes. Oh, you wanted to get away?
There's more.
I mean, so there's a lot more to that story. But
I mean, obviously he was a
Not her
shooter.
giving us the tea.
so I was with dude, like my platoon sergeant. So when you're a private, you cannot live anywhere other than the barracks. Like you can't move off post. And I wasn't trying to live in the barracks. Right. So he was like, "Hey, like you could come live with me in my penthouse."
He risky.
And I was like, he was like, "I'll drive you to PT every morning." A bitch wasn't trying to walk, you know, like
Right.
this all sounded so nice. And so I moved in with him, and then I started seeing like hints of a woman everywhere in the house, like a long hair or like a pink razor. And I'd be like, I asked him about it. I was like, whose is this stuff? He was like, nobody lives here. It's just me and you. Like I literally moved all your stuff in. Like, why are you worried about it?
So now you lying to my face.
But then I was like, he's right. Like all my stuff is here. No one else is ever here. Am I just tripping? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I get pregnant, and then like 4 or 5 months into my pregnancy, this Korean American lady is like storming at me at the gym. Like she's walking really fast toward me. And I'm like, who is this? Like I've never seen this lady before. And she's like, I just want you to know, first of all, his name was also Fred. And that's why I asked you about bro at the beginning.
Watch out for those prayers, man.
That's why I asked you about the other Fred. But she was like, I've been with Fred for 2 years. I overdosed on pills. I've been in the hospital. Like literally my kidneys were failing. He moved you in when I was in the hospital. And I'm like,
oh shit.
Hey, yo.
Damn.
I'm 19 barely at this point.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, like this dude, by the way, he was 38 at the time.
Damn.
So he just moved you in the crib all easy like
He
that?
moved me in.
No problems?
No problems. We were having a really good relationship. And we have a really good relationship now. Like he's a great father.
Guy's
But this was just some crazy
player
shit.
At that time. He was a stone.
This was just some crazy shit. And he knows he was wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
He don't give a
The
fuck
Korean
either,
chick was
especially
like
at that time.
Korean?
What?
The Korean chick was like from Korea? Like she had
I think one of her parents were from Korea, but she was Korean American. Like I think her mom was Korean, but her dad wasn't.
So she didn't have like the accent?
No.
What that got to do?
Because I was thinking the whole time during the story.
You're like picturing
this
like how
little Korean motherfucker come cuss her out like, you motherfucker.
yo.
She
Canceled.
For me, like I was like really thrown for a loop. I was like, damn, like I'm pregnant. What am I supposed to do?
Fuck am I supposed to do?
You
I'm
know?
all the way over here.
I have no family here. Like,
And you're 19, which is like, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Super
I'm very young and I didn't realize it then. But like looking at me being who I am now, being a mother, I'm like, damn, he met me when I was 18 and he was 38.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
It's a little
Big
wild.
pedo vibes.
And
wild.
you know, it's whatever. Like everything was consensual, obviously. But
But really, at 18, really?
I mean that you can consent at 18.
Consent is consent, but
I have a
he was playing a
15-year-old
different game.
daughter, right? And I
Okay.
can't imagine 3 years from now, some nigga big like Danza trying to fuck her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know,
there's
my baby
no
daddy
way.
actually looks a lot like you.
Yeah, his name's Fred too.
Damn.
Yeah, Yeah, well, he's a Colombian dude. He's like always in the gym. Like he looks really young for his age. Like he's a handsome dude, and like we're cool now, like I said. But then that was some crazy shit for me to go through, you know? Because what bro told me, he was like, I was like, I got to get out of here because I don't want my daughter to be, you know, not an American citizen.
Yeah.
I wanted her to be born in America with my family around.
Yeah, that's smart.
You know, so I left and went back to America where I got stationed in Georgia. And he was like, I'll be home in March. I PCS'd in February. He's like, I'll be home in March. Well, bro never came home. So I'm like trying to navigate my life, trying to find a house on Fort Benning. There's a whole lot of things you got to do to prepare for a baby, you know, and I never signed up for any of it on my own. So I'm navigating, I'm figuring it out all while working full time, you know, and in the military, you work until you pop that baby out. There's no
mercy.
No mercy, none of that. So, you know, I found myself a home for me and my daughter and had my daughter. And when she was about 6 months old, he was like, I want to come home. Like, I miss y'all. Like, and I'm like, and of course I let him come home because
that's tough.
You know, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I don't do it so much anymore because I'm like, the benefit of the doubt really never benefited nobody. You know, like when you, because people are going to sometimes treat you different than you would treat them.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, damn, I would give somebody mercy in this situation, but would they return the favor?
They don't reciprocate.
So, you know, we ended up getting married, doing the whole thing, and that didn't end up working out. And so it was just part of my story for real. Wow. It's crazy.
Out the gate.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
That's rough.
It was.
Like so you go through this pregnancy alone?
I went through the pregnancy alone. Like I said, I went back to Fort Benning, found my home, you know, where we were going to be
Fort
at.
Benning?
Fort Benning.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
Fort Benning.
Fort Benning, Georgia. And if you know anything about the military, you know that Fort Benning is like home of the infantry. So a lot of soldiers there are like male soldiers because women weren't allowed in the infantry till like maybe 4 years ago. So I was one of the only women in my unit at the time. Like there was maybe like 6 or 7 women in the whole unit. And I just remember after my Airborne accident, my sergeant major, he was only worried about when I was going to jump again. He's like, when are you going to jump again? And I'm like,
back to business.
This is not a healthy environment. You know, like I started to see the toxicity of the military and I knew at that point that it was time for me to do something else.
Word.
So you changed courses and